This DYM podcast is brought to you by LeaderTrex. Go to serve, return ready to lead. On a LeaderTrex mission trip, you'll serve and get out of your comfort zone, and through the program, your students will learn how to lead. They will bring that leadership and confidence back to your youth ministry, and it will make a difference for the rest of the year. Learn more and sign up at leadertrex.org. And since we love DYM listeners, they always get 10% off resources by using the code DYM10. That's DYM10 at leadertrex.org.
Juan,
3,
2,
1.
Dos.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the Download Youth Ministry Podcast. Doug Fields here. To my right, the senior pastor, the very, very wonderful Jason Carson, the Queen, Katie Edwards. As always, junior high pastor and author, speaker,
and almost
mother.
juggler.
Almost.
And almost what?
Almost juggler.
Almost juggler.
It's terrific. I can almost fly an airplane.
All right.
I'm Josh. Good to see you too. Here we go.
This is episode 318 shows. This one, most specifically, brought to us by our great sponsors at the Orange Tour, the Orange
fantastic.
Conference, the Orange Curriculum, the Orange Phase Project,
Wow.
the Orange Parent Queue,
And the Orange Youth Ministry Leadership Exchange.
Well,
sponsored by Download Youth Ministry.
and Orange.
And
Fuller Youth
Youth
Institute. Yeah. So Orange has got a lot of stuff going on.
Dominating.
It's pretty good.
We're going to be at
Thank
the
you,
Orange Tour this fall. We've probably already been at a couple by the time this one airs. Josh has probably missed a plane flight.
That's true.
A lot of things happening. We're also very thankful to LeaderTrex for providing things for our members every single month.
Members get a killer download from LeaderTrex, student leadership stuff, which you can hand to a couple student leaders or teach to a group of student leaders, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you need great leadership resources, they have it in YM360.
Yep. Killer camps. They're already taking camps registrations for 2018. These guys are ahead of the game.
Really?
Good job, YM360. Yeah.
They do everything right.
They do.
You know, when
They're
you
sharp.
live in Birmingham, Alabama, though, do you have time for... I mean, what do you do?
Yeah.
You have lots of time.
Well, let's play cornhole and talk about next year's camp. That's all they do.
Yeah, and write curriculum.
But they're good at it. That's YM360. Thank you for sponsoring the show.
Yes.
And then do we have a fourth sponsor? Is that
I don't know.
the scholarships available?
We
at the
did.
School
Then
of
we
Worship?
backed out. Then we had another one, and we decided no.
I know.
It felt like a money
We got
grab
another-
and not a real helpful for youth workers.
We got
so-
another one kind of talking right now. We'll see where that lands.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
Listen to
Okay.
317, get a free scholarship, whatever.
Yeah. Hey, and free worship scholarships.
to Cal Baptist.
If you want to go to Cal Baptist in Riverside and be mentored by Rick Munchow, who's a good buddy of ours who did lead worship for 20 plus years at Saddleback, write him at rickmunchow.com to find out about Cal Baptist.
There's a fourth sponsor right there. Boom.
They should be. I don't know why colleges like that. I mean, we had APU for a while, and then they fell out of God's will.
Amen.
Had to do other priorities like billboards. Yeah, people drive past a billboard and go in Southern California and go, oh, I should go there. That's never going to happen. No. Hey, this is going to be the quickest show in the history of shows.
Okay.
Because
let's go rapid fire.
Our last show, we record 2 at a time. Yeah. Our last show went a little long, and then we started a little late.
Jason Carson.
Ew.
Yep.
Thank you, ladies.
He's still on vacation time, but he's back now. He's back and ready to go.
Yeah, so here we go. This is Doug, Josh, Katie, and Jason. What would you four recommend doing in the following situation? I'm new youth ministry at the church. I'm in rural southern Indiana. I was wondering what would be the best way to help unify the few other local churches to be the community. It seems so divided. No church really seems to work together. This area is becoming more and more of an area for drugs, and I feel like it's going to take a village to make an effective difference.
Good for you, having a heart for the community, building bridges to other churches.
Yeah, and this is the guy we talked about in the last show. show who, when Jason and I met him, he said, I spoke to Doug and Jason at the Orange Conference about what to do when I was served a termination notice. Just want to say thanks. It meant a lot to help me leave well.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Good
so
guy.
Landed on his feet, the whole bit. I'll go first, and I'll go quick. I would host something and see who shows up. I think people are territorial. If you have no agenda other than just, hey, a network connecting, I'd love to meet the other youth pastors. I'm buying lunch. We've got somebody in our church that's going to cater it, whatever.
Costco pizza,
love to meet you.
Whatever.
Yeah. Let's put a time limit on it. It's going to be 60 minutes. So people feeling like they're not going to be trapped there for hours.
And we'll send you some cards from Download Youth Ministry. Give everybody some free downloads. Let us know.
Look at that.
We'll do it right away.
That's nice. Oh, Josh, how generous are you?
I got a box of them in my office. I'm ready to send them out.
Your network lunch.
Yeah.
So here's a question. So what if you're asking this question and you have no budget for this whatsoever? You could obviously buy a cheap lunch out of your own pocket.
Literally,
of course,
$20. Yeah.
But is there other solutions? Is something you could do?
Nope. Bring your own chicken.
No, you have to.
BYOC.
You have to buy a
You
lunch.
have to throw huge money.
Yeah, no. I mean,
Yeah.
if somebody says, "Come over to my house, I'm gonna make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches," I'm like, Here's
I gotta wash my hair.
Is there a crust on it?
here's the
Uncrustables.
biggest thing for me is not the meal.
Yeah.
It's the time.
Yeah,
It's the time. So like when people say, hey, I want to pick your brain, I'll even buy lunch. Well, okay, that's wonderful. You just saved me $7. But that's not what I care about.
Right.
What I care about is that 90 minutes or whatever it's going to turn
1 hour
into.
that turns into 3. And sure.
So honor the time. We're going to meet for 60 minutes, start to finish. Love to get to know you and see if it goes anywhere.
A cool phase too, if there is a next step, could be, I was at an event in Riverside, and the entire valley, there's like 9 churches that all get together for an event called Fusion. And I just thought that was a really cool, it's the beginning of the school year rally for all these churches to get together, and they do a big joint event. They kind of have a little committee or whatever. That might be a little more advanced than a first step, but it's a really great unifying event. Sounds like it might be.
Yeah, is it Riverside where Cal Baptist is, where Rick Muchow is the head of worship leading now?
Correct. There's amazing scholarships available there as well.
At rickmuchow.com. Katie, go.
Maybe start with somebody you know. So if there is one other youth pastor you know, maybe even just getting together with him first, or her, and just talk them through like, hey, this is kind of my heart, so it's always more fun to do things with a friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hey,
Fight crystal meth
I'll host
together.
it at my church. You pay for it. The lunch.
I like it.
The coolest thing I saw, there was a few years back in youth ministry, this kid named Colin was the leader of his campus for Cookies for Christ, right? And they got all the schools in the area to come together for this one big worship event, and they got together and had this big like revival night, and it was so cool. And it was like he wanted to have it. He didn't go to my church, and he needed a venue, and they asked if they could have it at our church. We said yes. All student led. You had 500 high schoolers coming into this one room from like 7 high schools in the area. And it was amazing. So it's like you wonder if students could start leading the revolution in that way. Wouldn't that be cool?
I like it a lot.
That would be cool.
It felt like Doug just showed a lot of restraint right there. That was the
dig, but he realized how powerful it was.
I still follow.
I didn't want to grieve the Holy Spirit.
That's right. I follow Colin on Instagram. He's doing great things still for God. It's
You
cool.
guys a stud.
This is from Jeremy Nelson. Recently had a high school girls small group leader who has been on our team for about a year. She came on her summer service trip a few weeks back and said in one of our leader meetings that one of the best parts of the week for her was that she finally felt like she was quote unquote in with the other leaders. I had never thought about this before and don't want to have an exclusive feel to our team. What are some good ways to introduce and welcome a new leader to others as well as to the students? And how can we handle the process of feeling in? Thanks. See you soon. Jeremy Nelson from Indianola Community Church, gold member, DYM 100 alumni.
Oh, wow.
And a DYM 2017 week 2 attender.
Oh, that's awesome. Like a mentor of the other people that are coming. I love it.
That's exciting.
Well, we'll
That's
see.
great.
We'll see whether he mentors or not.
Yeah,
He just
that's
takes
true.
up a seat.
Jury's
he's
out
gonna
on that
mentor.
one.
Yeah.
but I like it. That's a great question.
Jeremy's a good guy.
I like when you have new leaders join your team, just if there's ways that you can utilize them in your program. So if there's games that you're playing, have volunteers come up and be a part of that, just kind of introducing them to students through fun and some of those things. Obviously, I mean, I love community stuff when you're, eating meals together as a volunteer team and sharing time together. That's, to me, always the way to make people feel the most part of what you're doing. But there's also all sorts of ways in your program and things like that you can include new leaders so students see them and feel like you're all one team and it's not, I don't know.
Great.
Those things
I think
tend to work.
value their opinion too. Like, let's say you're doing a leader training and you have a veteran share an observation. Well, I would say, and maybe prep them ahead of time, but go, hey, you have fresh eyes and you see, where do you see, where are we strong at this? Where are we weak at this? And I think just have them be a part of the mix. Like, as an extrovert, I would really value that, going, give me a little outlet right away and let me share a thought. I think that, I don't think that's for everybody, but I think valuing their opinion or giving them the stage for a second would be huge.
Sure. We always had new leadership nights, back to when they become leaders, Katie, like you were just saying. So whenever we had a new batch of leaders coming in or whatever, we had people over at our house and we cooked them a fun dinner and dessert and all that stuff. And I would always bring in 4 to 7 current leaders to kind of host the thing and to totally connect them. And we did a bunch of get to know you games, a bunch of fun stuff and things that would really make them friends, almost like we do on youth summer camps, right? I mean, what happens when kids get away at a camp and talk in a cabin about, they're connected for life. I mean, you want, as a youth pastor, kids to go to camp because it will make them in. Yeah. And it's the same kind of thing. I think if you're looking to connect leaders, to get them over in that space, whether it's at your own home or whether it's at some kind of event where there's some real intentional connectivity, I think that's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'd say a couple things. One, set the adult leader up from the beginning and let him or her know, hey, there's a good chance you're going to feel uncomfortable for a while. You're not going to feel in right away, because here's the deal. You show up to Wednesday night and you're thinking, how come the adults aren't being nice to me? Well, they don't have time to be nice to you. They're taking their precious few minutes that they have connecting with the kids that they haven't seen all week. So it's not that they don't like you. They're not thrilled that you're not part of the team.
They have a job to do.
They got other, and you're going to be like that in about 6 months anyway. Sure. So as soon as you set them up that way, when they do feel that way, they feel uncomfortable. Well, Doug told me that was going to happen. There's one exception to this. I remember a guy. His name was Bill Daly, and he did. He worked at Oakley. Yeah. And I'm walking him into a house group, and I'm giving him the whole speech as we're walking in. Look, here's the deal. Most kids, it's going to take months probably for you to feel comfortable, the whole bit. He's like, okay, yeah, I get that. And then I walked in and I said, hey, he's the head of marketing at Oakley, and I think he can probably get you guys some free stuff. And all of a sudden, the kids were like, just immediately it was
most popular guy in the house.
So that violated.
So if you have a cool job, use that to your advantage to get in.
We
faster.
like you then.
Hey, I'm a new
you can
leader.
give us stuff.
I can almost juggle. Get over here, guys.
Let me give you some Oakleys.
The second thing I would say
juggle?
is that I would take a leader who's been around for a while, let's say 4 years. 3 years. They're a veteran leader. And you are assigning a veteran leader to an incoming leader.
Yeah.
And just say, hey, would you just put your arm around this person? Would you just make sure they feel comfortable? Would you help them, get connected? Would you introduce them to the people you already know? Because as the leader of leaders, when we put a staff meeting together or something like that, we're scrambling. We're making sure that the punch is out or whatever. And you're not always making sure it's Indianola. It's Middle America.
It's Hawaiian punch. There's a big bowl of Hawaiian punch.
But maybe some sherbet mixed in.
What that does for the older leader, the veteran leader, it gives them a little bit more cachet. Man, I can't believe Doug would ask me to do this.
Yeah, they're gonna stick, which is great because it's much easier to keep your people than find new ones. But we spend so much time pushing for the new ones, we don't care for them, and giving them that responsibility will help them stick.
Yeah.
That's great.
New question. This is from Andrew Larson. Andrew Larson is a DYM 100. He's a gold member. He's an author.
Yeah.
But he's recently transitioned from youth ministry to be a senior pastor.
Boo.
Right, Andrew.
Yeah.
No.
No, I love youth workers turning into senior pastors. We need more of them. Honestly.
Really?
Oh, dude, if more senior pastors thought like you and last show Bob from Seal Beach, the church would be a better place.
Josh, try not to refer back to show 317 all the time.
It was a great show.
Metaphor.
It was a great show.
You do have a lot of callbacks, right?
It's a great show.
I'll give it a B.
It was a top 5.
Elliot,
Would you give it a B?
I called it 318 when it was 317. Do you think you could put a little graphics over that and say Doug's an idiot?
I'll just put you saying 317 over when you said.
Okay.
Yeah, here, do you need audio for that?
Voice,
317. 317.
Insert here.
I'll give you some other options. 317.
I'll use that.
Okay, that's the one.
317.
Good call.
Welcome to show 317, although we're recording this at 318.
This is now 318. You're
Anyway,
totally...
This is getting
Edit this out.
confusing.
Edit this out. Keep going.
Andrew Larson.
And we're back.
Andrew Larson.
And we're back. Don't worry about it.
Transitioning to a new ministry role. It's simultaneously exciting and a terrifying time. This isn't my first transition, but it is unique in that I am staying in the same area and I'm moving to a church about 30 minutes away. My current church is in the middle of a season of change. Our senior pastor's just retired. Several other key leaders have moved elsewhere during the shuffle. I'm regularly having conversations where church people tell me that they are planning to come to our new church once I'm there. I do not want to discourage people from coming to church, but I also do not want anyone to think that I'm recruiting from my current church to the new church. Is it possible to honor my current church without discouraging people from checking out a new church that might be a fit for them? Should I have a come one, come all mentality? Should I actively discourage people who are wanting to be a part of the new ministry that I'm moving towards? I want the best for the church that I'm leaving, but I'd be lying if I said that I wouldn't be thrilled to have some people that I know and love come with me. Thanks for all you do in the world of youth ministry. Thank you for DYM. The past few months of transition have been difficult and frustrating, but one of the greatest resources I have had during all of this has been the wisdom, insight, and friendship I've received from the people that I would not even know if it were not for DYM.
Oh, very nice.
All right, you take it, Jason.
Jason's like, you're
I
welcome.
have done this. That was
And done this-
something I struggled with.
Really well.
I hope well.
Yeah.
But I struggled with that. That was so just. I was tortured every day, every night with this thing because I said
Tortured?
yeah,
Really?
mentally, sure.
It was
I
waterboarded
was set
every
out-
night.
I was set out to say I do not want anyone to accuse me of stealing people from the church I left. Like I just made it my life mission. And guess what? I got accused of it multiple times in different ways. And it was like, I encourage people not to come sometimes. I said, you should stay. You shouldn't break up your, one time a wife wanted to come and the husband didn't. I told the wife, you should not be coming. You need to stay with your family, whatever. But my point is to Andrew, just know that this is going to be a tough one. I don't think there's any other way around it. But I would say keep everything in check. Don't recruit. If people are talking and people that love you and that know you, they might be your sheep. The sheep knows the shepherd's voice. If you have been called to shepherd the flock that God has given you, and these are people that like you've ministered to over all these years and they want to follow you, that's not the end of the world. But hopefully everything's open hands. You don't own these people in the first place. They belong to God, not this church, not that church. Just be careful not to be accused of stealing. Yeah.
But so if you're accused, you didn't steal people and you were accused anyway.
Yeah. And that's part, take the blows.
All right.
I think that's one of the weirdest things about the church and transition and things like that. It is rare that one family or one couple would be at the same church for their 80 years of life. I think, if we're one church body, there are different times where you have different needs and you want to be part of a different church family for a different season. And I wish more people just had that mentality of the church down the road is not my competition, they're the church. And I realize there's so many layers to that. And
Budget.
It's idealistic. I totally understand that. I know, I get that.
Your job.
Volunteers, turnover.
I totally get it. But I think I have a friend, another friend who's a senior pastor, and we've had this conversation, and he was like, oh, there's people from your church that are coming to our church. And I'm like, well, I'm glad they're going to church. Now, I realize I come from a larger setting, and so it's not a thing as much, right? But I just wish that didn't exist as much, of just, because I don't know if we'll be at our church. Right now, it's so perfect for our family and the season of life that we're in. We love the youth ministry for our kids. But when Ron and I are just Ron and I don't know. We might want to move somewhere else or try a new setting.
Be the junior high pastor?
I don't know how long they'll let me. I'm 42, but I think
Bob
there's
will hire you.
Bob will totally hire me for
from
sure.
show 317.
Yeah, but I just think in different seasons, sometimes people have different needs and want to be part of
And be
different
okay with that.
settings and. Maybe a smaller setting or a larger setting or more opportunities or something. I don't know. I'm sad that that's a thing.
And because it starts at the top.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. It's the senior pastors who are, tweeting how many people come to things.
Sure.
That makes it be like, the more we, some big churches, they could lose 200 or 300 people and fill, start your church, Jason. What if a big church in the area would have said, here's 100 people? Mm-hmm. It would have changed your life.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, completely.
Yeah. Yeah. And they'd have never missed that 100. But until we at the top realize that we're not a bunch of churches, like you said, in competition. We're one church, And church is only, I think Jesus talks about church 2 times. It's the kingdom.
Right.
Maybe 3.
Can I throw one other thing on the opposite end of this? I think quietly a new senior pastor could get their hopes up that some people would leave and jump ship. And I need the volunteer or the tithe money or the camaraderie or the whatever. And then they don't come. And then you're a little defeated going, I need a buddy. I need a partner, a friend, a trusted. Sure. So I think just be careful of the quiet hopes inside of you.
Yeah.
And then they don't come over because their family goes there and it's just the right fit and it's just not the right time. But the person who did leave is now a little wound up.
Think about how many promises people have made to people like
sure.
senior pastor. Like, we're going to go to your church.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they go and they realize, wait, this isn't a school.
Right.
And the children's ministry is not anywhere near as good as what we just left.
There's 11 kids here,
exactly.
and there's 1,100 leaders at the other one or whatever. Yeah.
That happens a lot.
Well, the youth group, sure, the infinite comparisons and promises, eager, encouraging
I think if there's
people.
a couple buddies that you do life with. I mean, I did that when I came to Saddleback. Greg and Linda Vino.
Oh, we just hung out with them. Yeah.
Like, hey, would you guys go with me and help me?
And they've been so faithful and so important to your story.
And that makes sense. Like, to me, I think your inner circle, that when you made that transition and you asked, I think you had like 5 or 6 leaders that I remember came with you. And I think you can ask that core of people that
for sure
you've leaned into for ministry and like, hey, we're doing this thing and we want you to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
And I think there is totally room for that, where it's not a stealing thing. It's we do life as a village now, and we want you to be in our next stage of village with us, so. Yeah.
Good. This is a question from Steve Cullum on the shortest show in the history of our podcast. This is episode 318, not 317. This will be the last question.
We have 3 minutes.
Doug, Josh, Katie, and Jason, I'm going to be starting a new ministry in Colorado after being at my current church in New Hampshire for 10 years. The new church is thinking seriously about starting a midweek alternative for the many families gone on the weekends. They want me to start a middle school program the same night. Since it's an alternative worship time, should we do the same program as we do on Sunday morning or try something different? They also have adult small groups midweek. So we'll have 2 hours for our midweek, but only have 1 hour on Sunday. Thanks for all you do. Looking forward to seeing you all again and serving DYM 100 round 2 in September.
Very cool, Steve.
If you're not a DYM member, why? Katie, why not?
Why wouldn't you?
The greatest deal in the history of
Why wouldn't you become one?
I know.
And a gold member at that.
Right.
Seems like, gosh, it's like giving you an intern, Katie.
Basically, it's a full-time employee. Really a few full-time employees.
There you go.
Yeah.
Do you think this is a good opportunity to maybe try a different level of program? Like if the adults are doing small groups, maybe this is where your small groups come into play. Feels like that could be. I do feel like you're setting up, you got to be really careful in these moments because you're starting a program that doesn't end, that will be with you for eternity. Be very careful with these next steps. This is a big moment in your history, Steve.
I'd experiment with doing the same. I'd do the same program.
Yeah.
Because they're really, what they're saying is we're going to repeat Sunday morning on Wednesday night. And we need a place for junior hires so that those families can still have it. In terms of your own sanity, your own message prep, your own staff, your own, or whatever, volunteers, whoever you've got, I would do the same thing to see if the Wednesday night even sticks.
Yeah.
Like if Wednesday night sticks and you realize 6 months down the road that you're getting the same kids that you had on Sunday morning, then you reevaluate.
Right.
But out of the gate, you're starting this thing to serve the church.
Right.
So serve the church the same way you'd serve them on Wednesday.
Double your workload. Bad idea.
Yeah, but if you did something, if you have 2 hours instead of one, then you could do the small group strategy.
Add a small group component, use some DYM games, have a little more fun up front.
Community component, totally. Well, and how is the church communicating to families? So if they're jump on board with their communication and align with that, in the beginning. And I would say you're not establishing something for eternity. I think the church is experimenting and so are you. So align with that and then, then make changes as you go.
It's the safer play for sure.
Well, it's just a starting point.
If the church backs out and you've created something totally different, then you're probably going to continue to
locked. Yeah.
Right. But if the church backs out, you're going, oh, that's okay. We do the same thing on Sunday morning. We'd love to have you on Sunday morning.
Yeah. Right. We always had, a separate Sunday morning program and a midweek youth group. So in my mind, I'm thinking what a great opportunity to start a full midweek youth ministry and have that 2 hours, 1 hour meeting in community where you have fun music and games and, the whole community, and then break them into small groups for the second hour and do it based off of either what you did on Sunday, kind of like a sermon-based thing, or create your own curriculum. But again, that is a lot more work, but I like that. I love
There you go.
I love midweek youth ministry.
Go all in. I like it.
Well, that is a lot more work.
Well, and it's not, I don't know if it's just about the workload, because I think it really is kind of thinking through, years ago at Saddleback, we had a Sunday and a midweek, and they looked similar, and we were getting the same kids, but then this was drawing. It was just kind of it was an interesting thing. So I think, it's not just about something that creates more work for you, but it's really the effectiveness and the purpose and the intentionality of what you're doing. Yep. Those are the bigger questions for something like that. So duplicating something is just as much work as creating something. I mean, doing things twice is a workload. You know? But I think, really thinking through, again, the purpose side of it, who's the audience, who's coming, all of those things.
If there was only a book about the purposes that people could...
Purpose plus potential audience equals program.
Like chapter 3 of Purpose-Driven Youth Ministry. If there was only a book, but whatever. Amazon Prime,
that'd be nice
$9.
if there was that written by someone like Doug Fields.
Yeah, if only. The guy can dream.
You should write something like that.
All right,
would you write a book called Purpose-Driven Youth Ministry?
Done.
That's great.
Available now.
Yeah.
You guys, it's always fun to be together.
It's a blast.
Thank you for carving out this time. And we will be together again, I'm sure.
I hope so.
Yeah, we will.
If
Lord
you
willing.
If you have questions,
send them to
podcast
at downloadyouthministry.com.
That's
the lamest that we've done. So anyway, you're all wonderful, and we will see you at the poll.
Oh my goodness, that's going to stick.
No, that can't
Oh
stay.
my. It might stick.
This Download Youth Ministry podcast is brought to you by Generate Camp by YM360. Join us this summer as together we explore how the gospel transforms, revolutionizes, and fundamentally changes everything. Check out our week in Durango, Colorado, July 31st through August 4th with DYM's very own Josh Griffin by heading over to generatestudents.com today.